Hello again, this is Jasmina, and in this video I'm going to talk about examples of Sha Chi and also general information about mitigating Sha Chi. So Sha Chi is a special classification of negative external objects that might bring negative energy into your house. They will include dead trees, electrical pylons, corners, especially corners of the roof, pointing into your house through windows or doors, or a T-junction that points into some area of your house. The best way to permanently deal with these is to block the view of these objects with a tree. And that will stay effective as long as the tree lives. Of course, it has to get big enough to block the object. And it is a little weird that this is an effective enough cure, but there is a lot about Feng Shui that says you have to see things for them to be effective. For example, if we're talking about activating special formations, you have to most times have visible water, not just water, but visible water, and a mountain that you can see, or a hill or higher ground. The only time Sha Chi can negatively affect you is when you also have negative, that is untimely stars, in the area of your house that the Sha Chi affects. That is either where it's located or where it's pointing. So here are some examples. This is the only corner, if this is what you can see when you open up your main door, or maybe it's a window of one of your rooms. If this is what you see, this is the only corner you need to really be concerned about. Actually, this is an actual point of the roof line. This edge here and this edge here. Now, these is stucco walls. These walls aren't actually sharp corners. They're actually rounded. So that isn't quite so bad. There is some sharp corners here on the trim, and that could also be a bit of a problem. But it's really this point that's the worst problem. These two areas here, you can see that there is a corner there, but it's not pointing into your door or window. These just are, they're pointing away from you. This one totally away. This one is probably way over your house. This here, if this is what you see, your neighbor's house, you don't have to worry about anything. None of these are pointing into where you're standing, and we're assuming you're standing at either your main door or in the middle of your window. And none of these affect you. You don't have to worry about anything here. If this is the view, this one is probably going to affect you. It's going to be maybe at knee level, maybe a little below. Again, you want to have this be completely in line where you can't really see every single one of these tiles, because this is a tile roof. This one probably hits the ground before it reaches your house. So this one, maybe you have to really try to get down and see where it is perfectly in line, like I showed in the last image, where you really cannot see this, the rest of the tiles. Now, if this is the condition you have, and it's in a laundry room, a bathroom, a garage, a storage area, something like this, you don't have to worry about it. It's not going to affect you because this is not an important area of your house. So I wouldn't really be too worried about it. You can mitigate it if you really want to, but it's really not important. But if this is what you see from your main door or a window in a room that's used often, which I'm assuming is an important room, which could include the kitchen or a bedroom or a home office, then yes, we want to worry about mitigating these. If you can plant a tree here that can block the view of this, especially this guy, that's good. And then once it grows tall enough, you don't have to keep mitigating it. But if this is your main door, this could be a problem. You don't want to have a tree in the middle of where your main door is. So there are other ways to deal with it when that's the case, and it's through continued mitigation. Or you actually move your door. If we're talking about T-junctions, only this house is affected by this T-junction because that's the only one it's pointing directly at. The guys on each side, no problem. None of the rest of them have a problem. Only this house. And I think that's pretty clear. When it comes to electrical lines and electrical poles, if it's a single pole that feeds your local neighborhood, it's a bit like a dead tree. It's not great, but it's also not terrible. In general, you can live with this unless it has something like 10 or 15 or more electrical lines coming off that one pole, because that's a pretty big one. Most ones that serve just small neighborhoods only have maybe 2 or 3 lines, and it's not such a big deal. This is what's the big deal. These are pylons. Every one of these things is over 100 feet high, if you're at least in the US, because of the code. This is most damaging if this is what you see from your front door. And the reason is, and now these are really big. I mean, I would not want to live in a house that I could see this actually anywhere. But there are people that live in houses like that. If this is the size of the trees, you can see, I mean, it's not trees, but pylons. You can see there's 2 here in the background. You've got another tall one that looks like this one, and then you've got another shorter one that looks like one of these guys. These aren't such a big deal. You know, these you can actually plant a small bush, and it's not too bad. You have to make a bit of a judgment call here. But if this is what you see, these guys, it's a little hard to block these with a tree because they are just too much into the central part of your view when you're looking out your door. And we're just talking here about your main door. And if that's the case, the reason why we don't want to put a tree there is because trees will also block good chi. So this is a really hard problem. The best solution here is to move your main door so you don't see any of these pylons, if that's at all possible. Or moving is another solution. Now, if this is a view from a window, even if it's an important room, you can plant trees to block this view, as long as, if it's an important room, you have chi flow from your main door, which does not see this, to that important room. And then that's fine. This is really only a significant, really problematic thing if this is your main door. Now, in general, like I say, if you can plant something there that blocks the view, or maybe sometime you can build something that might block the view, but in the meantime, until that is done, you have to do chi mitigations if you have a bad annual star or a bad natal star in the area that the Sha Chi impacts. And I talk about this in my monthly updates on what to do where, but there are 3 types of cures. There's a metal cure, and this can be anything directive or functional. I think it's nice to have something that you actually enjoy looking at, but it must be made out of metal. The weight of it is not important, but the timing of the placement is very important, and that's why I give you a set of dates to use. This metal cure can stay there long term until the next time that particular area of your home has another chance to do another cure. When that happens, you take that metal object out and then you bring it back in. Maybe it's a different object. It's usually kind of good to change it out, but a different metal object can come back in, and that will affect another set of 6 to 12 months of curing. Fire cures are trickier. The best cures are real open flame or real flame. That could be candles or oil lamps, but you do not want to leave these unattended because this is a very good way to burn down your house. Again, timing is the most important thing. And in those monthly updates that I give you a set of dates that you can use it in a particular area of your home. And of course, that's only if you have Sha Chi and negative stars. And then you want to do at least a 5 to 10 minute candle in that area, at least once on those dates. And you can also add a salt lamp that you run 24/7. It's much weaker, but if you turn on the salt lamp at the same time you burn the candles or turn on your oil lamp, it absorbs some of that energy and kind of continues it to be stronger than just using a salt lamp with never using a candle. The last type of cure is a water cure. The water must be slow moving and quiet. A good example is an aquarium, but it has to have an open top. That is, the water must be able to touch the air in the room. And again, timing is very important. And you will get those timings from the monthly Sha Chi mitigation dates that I give you. So that's basically it. I'd like to thank you for watching. Please feel free to contact me here if you have any questions, or visit my website to see more information about what I do. Please feel free to subscribe, because I will be giving monthly updates for when to do and where to do Sha Chi mitigations. Thank you again for watching.